Hello, everyone. This is Leigh-Pink with worldwidepredictions.com. How is everyone doing out there? Oh, is that started yet? Is it started? Does this thing work? Hello. Hi. Derek. Hi. How are you guys? Oh, now it's rolling. Hola. Okay, we're going to jump right in, everyone. Hello, everyone. Wow, look at all these people. Hi. This is cool. Hi, Kathy. I'm wearing your slippers. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to, everyone that helped out. Everyone that helped out in this moment. Everyone that participated in this moment where we lost B. We lost B. Whew. Okay, are we ready? This is Leigh-Pink with worldwidepredictions.com. We're going to start with worldwide predictions, give you predictions. Then from there, I want to share one of the most divine stories ever. Ooh. And from there, we're going to, if we have time, we're going to skip back over and then go talk about the superpower of tomorrow. Okay, let's start with the world predictions. Let's begin. Trump. Trump plans to seize all power. All of this leading to protest, civil disobedience, civil war, fever-pitch words. Trump. He tries to hold on to power. In 20, which I'm assuming is the 20th. A disastrous moment, bloody, short, a nation torn. The leadership begins to fall and fall quickly. From cruel words, from cruel verbiage, back and forth, violence becomes the new way. Can I ask, do we know if this is recording? Is this recording? Do I have to push a button for that? Anybody know? That's an old prediction added with a new prediction. And they're flat out saying that he's going to seize power. Now, the $1 million question is, why? Why is he doing this? And I always assumed that this was some sort of hold on power. But at the same time, something else is happening in 2020. If I were to describe 2025 in one word, it would be terrorism. Sorry, there's just no going around that. Terrorism is what I would describe as, there's just so much of it. Turkey. If the nation Turkey invades Syria and takes a part of Syria's land, which is planning to do because the Kurds, it just leads to epic terrorism on a huge scale for all the nations around that area. The United States, terrorism. All of these places with terrorism. So, whether or not, what I don't know, and what I had hoped to give everyone here was how the puzzle pieces fits. I haven't figured that out yet. But at the same time in 2025, we are expecting this event. I had a visual of a large spider just sitting. Spiders represent terrorism, basically, or an act like a gun shooting. He's sitting in his car, and he's moving back and forth. And then they say, car bomb, 20, again with the 20, New York. Now, at the same time, they gave a different version of, is that the same message, or are we talking about two separate messages? Hopefully not two separate. There is a threat to the United States, clear and present danger. Bombing. I had a visual of 7, in big and bold, and afterwards, again, the number 20. This time they put 20 minutes, and I'm assuming that's still 20, though. Then I had a visual of a bomb, and it was going off in a building. You could see the smoke bellowing from all of these different places. All this smoke just sort of bellowing out. And I couldn't tell. In one image, it seemed like something hit the building, but in another image, it seemed like maybe something exploded outward. But it was pretty large, the smoke. So that's the predictions that are coming in the near future. All of it discussing this moment with this troubling times for the United States of America. In another image, which was posted recently, we had an image where we painted North Korea and South Korea red. Now, if you look at the current affairs, it's red. All of it is red. They fired their president because he wanted martial law. They had another president. They fired him. Then they got a third president. Then a plane crashed. I mean, they are having a moment. Troubling times. That's what I would say. Troubling times. And that's what's coming. That's what's coming for the United States. And it's coming pretty much at rapid approach. Okay. Moving on from those world predictions. I want to share the most divine of all truths. Wow. Oh, wait. There's one other prediction. Modi, President, the Great Modi. They call him the Great Modi. He's going to get sick, putting into the spiritual realm. Respiratory. There's a respiratory problem coming. There's also a concern, pretty much right now, which is kind of in the news, where there's going to be respiratory issues. Like it's going to pop. It's going to just explode. All these, I don't know. At first I thought it was COVID-19, but I don't think it is. I think it's something else, like whooping cough or something. But either way, there's going to be a huge explosion as it goes for the hospitals filling up. But it's just a moment, very brief, very short, and it goes away. That's what they say. The most divine truth. Truly. I want to share the most absolute divine truth. Oh. The spiritual realm says that I have the greatest gift that could ever exist. That what I hold is the greatest, most divine power. It's great. They told me this when it was 2020, and I remember thinking to myself, más o menos? Like on one end, I have my cat. My cat is visiting me while I have COVID. It was truly awesome. Like, here's the kitty cat, and I'm just like thinking to myself, and the cat is deceased here, right? It was a very Twilight Zone-y kind of moment, but it was still really cool. I mean, the spiritual realm brought my deceased cat to visit me while I was having a COVID moment to comfort me. It was very unique. But at the same time, I predicted COVID. It was just like, like 1, 2, 3, 4 different predictions, all leading. Hey, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Oh, and then in 2019, we gave you one last warning with that virus. And it was just so dark to watch and look at, and just like, oh, this is too much, guys. So más o menos in my mind, but not anymore. It truly is the greatest of all jobs, the greatest of all gifts. It really is. So let me share that story. It's about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half. The spirits all lined up outside my house. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I go outside. It's very early in the morning. And they tell me the shimmer, the great shimmer, has a decree. I said, oh, this is exciting. A decree in the spiritual realm is this understanding, this message. Listen, here's a note for you. It comes from the king, the lords, the angels, the cherubs, all of them, the whole thing. Okay, wants you to do this. Okay, can you please do this? They're asking. This is the whole spiritual realm. I'm excited. I'm walking all the way to the canyon, down into the canyon, where you could see the glow, the misty glow of the shimmer. These ambers glowing, and this young boy standing there, now dressed in white. He has this white robe, and then he had this cute little hat on top of him. In the meantime, again, all these spirits are surrounding me like, oh, this is a moment. We're all excited. You're about to get your decree. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're going to tell me a prediction about an earthquake coming, a horrible earthquake, and we need to figure out what we're going to do with that. And maybe we'll save 10 lives. Pierce the future. I'm ready. And this is what I'm assuming is coming. And so as I'm walking down into the canyon, there's the boy that pops out of this glowing mist that is the shimmer, this huge force that often says, I asked him once, I said, so who are you? And he says, I am the road you're standing on. I thought to myself, I kind of get it, in the sense of he is the provider. He is the one providing all of this energy to use the spiritual force. But it's still utterly confusing. Who is this figure? But the boy is there, all dressed in white, holding the brown envelope. That's why the block is brown, everyone. Holding the brown envelope. And he's holding it there. And he smiles. Normally they hand it to you, okay? But Shimmer decides he's going to open it himself. And he opens it. And he says, Eric Leigh-Pink, we are asking Eric Leigh-Pink, humbly, to make B. Leigh-Pink the happiest she can be before we have her. And I thought to myself, family. But okay. And I told him, I says, this is about family? And wow, did Shimmer become suddenly super serious. It was almost like I was insulting the man or something. But he turns around and he says, family first. Always first. The roots of life hold all the weight. Very serious tone. The roots of life provide you the weight needed. No matter what, there will always be a storm. There will always be a moment, a crisis, a nightmare. And when that moment arrives, it will be the roots that determine your fate and whether you stand or fall. The roots of life, family first. That is our way. Simply because this entire cosmos was built on the foundation of a family that thought it could create something profound. Take care of your family. Tend to your roots, Eric Leigh-Pink. So I got on one knee. I was still honored. The whole thing was just utterly wow. I got on one knee, and you're supposed to hold out your hand, and you're supposed to have something, actually, flowers or a weapon or something that says, hey, this is for you. But I didn't have anything, so I just hold out my hand. And he's supposed to give me the note, but it melts. Just as it taps, I'm like, I didn't even get the note. I didn't even get to touch the note. And so it melts, and then all of a sudden, that's it. And I'm ready. I'm doing it. I'm going to help B. And it was truly awesome. About 6 months ago, you would think you would want to know this, right? The spiritual realm and I have this understanding. I'm walking through mud for you. I'm doing all these world predictions. We're looking at horror shows for 12 years now. I have been predicting events for the spiritual realm, not getting paid, right? I'm doing this for you. So please make sure you keep me well informed on anything negative coming. I need to know what's coming to me, and they do. They keep me utterly well informed on all the topics. Somebody's walking along and says, "Oh, hi, how you doing, Eric?" "Oh, he's lying to you. He's lying. Don't talk to that person." And that's the messages I'll get. I'm driving along, and there she is, the queen, Lord Mara. This sort of figure of death. She represents death. She is death. Is there, where the canyon is, where the shimmer is. Okay, that's a little bit odd. And in the background of all of this is the cherubs. These huge, gigantic creatures that look like lions. And so she's standing there in this beautiful Victorian gown. She's either dressing in India clothes, like she's going to an Indian wedding, or she's always dressed in a Victorian gown. And by the way, these clothes that I keep saying, she's not gaudy. Those are gifts given to her by others, right? And she's just like this. Okay, I'm going to put on the gift here. Come on, that's her, right? And so I'm looking at this scene, but we're driving along, and she's just nodding at me. And we're driving along, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, there must be a prediction. There must be some event coming. So I walk over there after I get out of the vehicle, and I say to her, "Oh, how can I help you? This is an angel, mind you." And she says, "I'm here for you. I'm here to pay you the respect I aim to take from your household." That's the warning she's giving. She's flat out telling me that death is coming to the door. You would think you would want to know that. But I challenge all of you, no, you don't. It was a mistake to ask for this. But I asked for it, and they're giving it to me. Because it's like a countdown. It's really horrifying. It just really bothers you inside. So if you're a psychic out there, don't do that. Just leave it alone. Let go, as Lao Tzu would say. And so that's what's happening. She's telling me, prepare, this is happening. She didn't really tell me who. And I assumed the wrong things. I assumed, okay, this is probably what's going to happen. But it was B. And I'm thinking to myself, no. And it was 6 months of me picking her up and putting her down, helping her. Very painful. All of it just painful. And I tried to help her as much as possible. To put wounds on her. I was like the nurse. Without help. And then the final moment arrives. And I got to sit with her. In the final moment. And I was there. And she brings up an argument where it had been happening for years. Right? And I'm like, really? You're bringing up an argument now? And then she asked me to take care of her father. And soon after, she passes. And when she passed, this bubble happened. It was like and it looked very, very beautiful. Very like being in space and looking at the cosmos. It's just very serene kind of feeling. And so then she passed, and the spirits, Marcus specifically in his suit, and his finely pressed suit, and his tie, he comes up to me and he says, "We're going to step back. I need you to step back. And just focus on family." I said, okay. We even went so far as to push a reset button there, literally, as the year was wrapping up. It was kind of cool. And it was a really profound moment. But turning it off, really, in this moment, It really ate me. All of a sudden, I was mourning. I didn't know. How is B? What's going on here? I just thought to myself, wow, this is how everyone else is. And I think to myself, no, I don't want this at all. This is just horrifying. We have the spiritual realm, and I have this thing where we have a red phone. It's called the red phone. And I didn't know what the red phone was. But the red phone basically is when some angel, some divine being upstairs wants to call and say, hello, Eric. 9 times out of 10, that phone call will be a royal prediction where they're saying, hey, change direction. That's all they say. That's it. It's just a quick phone call, change direction. We were doing royal predictions for Russia. And they turned around and said, change direction to storms and weather because the Gulf is about to be hit. Okay, well, you have a lovely day, and that's it, but I'm hoping, I'm waiting patiently for this red phone to ring because I'd really like to talk to my mother. You know what I mean? I mean, that is, it's a phone to heaven. It's really cool. But it's not ringing. Nothing's happening. And I'm really mourning. Like I'm mourning. It's just like, wow. And then all of a sudden, it rings. And by this time, I'm really upset with the spiritual realm. Like, why am I in this place? What's going on here? You turned it off at the wrong time. It just felt like, what are we doing, guys? And all of a sudden, it wasn't B. Instead, I'm having a vision. I picked up that red phone, and I immediately had a vision. Huge, gigantic temple. Beautiful, just ornate. We'll talk about the temple later. But just the most ornate temple. And on the top of this huge temple is the purple flame that goes straight up. And this, again, is an angel, Lord Va. And Lord Va is really the timekeeper. He's called the timekeeper. He's referred to as the timekeeper. You need to understand. This is Elvis to singers, Denzel Washington to actors. He's the timekeeper. I predict the future. You know what I mean? This is so. And I met him before. It's really cool. He's one of the main chiefs in this group of angelic forces. But in this moment, he's being very serious. And he's like, do you question my way? And I'm like, thinking to myself, what? No. And I really thought to it. And I said, you know what? Wait a second. I do your world predictions. I've been doing it for 12 years. Nobody's paying me here. Come on. Come on. How loyal can you be here? And so I started to get on one knee. And as I did, the real timekeeper shows up. And this is the real timekeeper. I'm sorry, I know Faith would probably disagree. But this old man shows up, and we're in the desert now. And it looks like biblical times, honestly. And all he's wearing is just a shawl for his pants, like just this bottom baggy kind of white pants. And he's got nothing on top here. He's got this necklace, but outside of that, that's it. And you could see his bald head, and he's got this white silhouette around it, and the sun is shining behind him. And he's super, super old. And he's just holding my hand. It feels so warm. And I think to myself, wow. And he says to me, oh, I thought we had a problem. And I'm like, oh, no, timekeeper, there's no problem. He says, and he pretends like he's an old man now. And so we're walking. He says, oh, walk me over to this bench over here. And so we walk over to the bench. And as we're walking over to the bench, we bring up some old topic. It was called, what's it called? Tilva. Eric, did you enjoy my wife's Tilva at the party? Now, he's referring to some party that happened like 10,000 years ago. Like, I don't know, like super, super long, way long time ago. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember, Lord Va. I'm sorry. And he looks at me and says, a bit rude. You should know my wife's cooking. You know? I was like, okay. We sit down, and the timekeeper looks at me. And I said, how can I help you? How can I serve you? And the timekeeper says, I'm here to help you. And the first thing he presents, he says, my son holds the arrows of Apollo for you to help pierce the future. And I thought to myself, I wanted to jump out of my seat. I was just like, yeah, that is what I want. And I was very, very excited. I was very, very just, oh, this is wonderful. And so he's there, and then he just questions very quickly. So are you loyal to me directly, or are you loyal to Lord Ma? Who, again, Lord Ma Ra. There's a sense of this figure who has multiple jobs. She's death. She's the ultimate warrior. Right? But everybody knows her for the third one. Ma. Are you going out like that? No, I please, get up there. Change it. Go. Like, that's her. Like, she's literally like, oh, this, no. Why are you wearing that? You know, like it's a thing. Even with me. She's like, oh, this looks nice. What? Clean that up over there. You know, it's cute. And there's a sense of that's how she is. She's just like that. And she kind of has to be, we're going to have another story about her later to kind of explain one of the main roles that she has. Everybody gets a miss here. Like, you're not seeing that, but we'll talk about that later. And so I tell the timekeeper, no, I'm unfortunately loyal to her, right? Because I'm speaking to the spiritual realm. I'm communicating to spirits. She is that force, that window between life and death. She's the one there, sort of like a conductor, overseeing it all, sort of watching it all, right? And so, in short, you know, I work for her. Like, I really do. We even have a statue over here that everybody thinks is the sun. And so I had to tell her that. And then all of a sudden, we're in these biblical times. You see this woman just pop out of nowhere, and she's hitting a run. Psh, 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 psh. And it's her. It's Lord Ma. And she just kind of turns around and says, would it be any other way? You know? And he just smiles at her like, you know? And they're having this fun moment. And then he turns to me and he says, oh, by the way, Eric, you should get that. And the red phone rings. And I thought to myself, oh. So I pick up the phone. And all of a sudden, I'm in the cosmos now. I'm in the cosmos. There is this jolting river of fire coming down. It looks like as if light were a waterfall. And it would splash down, and then it would go this way. And then there in the middle was the boy, the shimmer. And I thought to myself, oh, shimmy, there's something else out here. Ooh, what are you? Again, I'm not sure. But in a serious tone, he says to me, in your moment of darkness, I bring you illumination. And he smiles because he's a boy. He's like, and it was cute. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting here where I do the meditations. Right, this is where I do most of my work. I'm sitting here. The lavender's burning in the background, right? Candles are burning, just like it looks right now. And all of a sudden, the shimmy is here. Like he's like, I'm like, are you real now? What's going on here? It was like very like mind bending kind of a thing. And he's shaking me, and he says, "Play the song. Push the green button." Spotify promo there, even though I'm not getting paid. But so I go to Spotify, push like whatever's playing, right? And it was "I Swear," which I think is from the 80s or 90s. I swear by the moon and stars in the sky, I'll be there. I swear the shadow that's by your side, I'll be there. For better or worse, till death do us part, I love you with every beat of my heart. I swear. So that song's playing in the background. And then it switches back to the vision. And there she is. Glowing. She's got her makeup on. She's putting her makeup on. And I'm looking in the mirror at her. And I just kiss her on the cheek. And think to myself, you really do have the greatest gift. You have the greatest gift. So I kissed her on the cheek, and then she gave me a quick message where here I was standing behind her. And then all of a sudden she showed this image where I was sitting and she was standing behind me. That was the message she gave. It was a beautiful message, a beautiful moment. Very happy. And then it stopped. And after that, we're back with the timekeeper. And this is an important part because I think, I'm not sure, but I think we're actually in heaven, which isn't possible because if you're in heaven, you're dead. There's no way you can escape that. But hey, this is a timekeeper. And by the way, the timekeeper to me, I know I'm going to probably insult some face here because he is seen as the destroyer. But for the timekeeper, for me, he is like Papa Smurf. Papa Smurf. Think about the cartoon. There's a couple of things we need to unpack here. First off, why is Papa Smurf bigger, like he's older, and these other individuals are younger? That's the timekeeper. He seems like super old, and these other angels are like, okay, there's a gap here. What's with the gap? Why are you super old? There's 3 of them. And they're all super, super old. And then the rest of them are kind of like, okay, where's the gap here? That's number 1. Number 2 is the timekeeper always has those lines at the end. Always has those, like, that one moment that's just like, oh, yep, you did it again. And number 3 is the way Papa Smurf is treated. Like all the other Smurfs look up to this figure. All of them look up and say, wow, it's Papa Smurf. Right? You can see it in the cartoon. And that's the way this person is looked at. That's the way this figure is seen. And in this moment, I honestly think we're in heaven because this is the way the temple looks. It's a beautiful temple. He takes all of the different rocks from all of the different cosmos and he builds a temple. Think about that. Rocks from all the different places. And so the temple is this beautiful imagery of rocks, but it's all art. It's like you could see images of people moving or images of birds, and all this different art is being shown. And it's showing an image of the past, basically. But at the same time, the structure is almost Aztecan or pyramid, and at the top is a hole. And so we're going down deep underneath. And this is almost like I would be a student of his, right? And so in this case, I'm watching him work. It's like, oh. And he's about to look through the window here, which I know happens to be a window looking outward to us, basically. Right? Like whatever's in the cosmos, whatever he wants to look at. But he's going on a trip to kind of relax and he's go meditate. And so there's a feeling of that's the direction he's going. And as we're walking, we're walking with him, and I'm holding his arm, and he says, you know, people shouldn't worry so much about the past. They should just let go of it. It seems like every time you hold the past, sadness comes. Let it go. And always move forward. And I said, thank you for your wisdom, timekeeper. And then it ended. And I come back home. Okay, before we get to the superpower of tomorrow, we'll see if we have enough time for that. I want to answer questions. I'm going to catch up with everybody here. Let's see here. Hold on. Hope you enjoyed that story. How is everybody? Does anybody have questions on what I just told you? Thank you. Thank you for... it's been a sad moment. I miss my mother. There's no question behind that. But at the same time, this divine moment is unfolding. And I would add, with the divine moment specifically, there is a feeling of, like, why am I talking to all these angels? Right? Does that make any sense? Like, why are all these angels here at one time? And it really is a moment where the spiritual realm, I've been serving and I've been doing these world predictions. I've been serving them. And so in this moment of tragedy, it's the opposite. It's this sense of, how do you get rid of this thing? This sense of them serving me, them doing for me. Okay, questions. I want to ask questions. Does anybody have questions? How does this scroll work? Do I have to read the bottom? I'm still trying to figure this out, everybody. Any questions? Hi. No questions about the world predictions. Good, but that's good. Let's do two more. Two more world predictions. Especially about the... Thank you. This person says, incredible story and teachings, Eric, especially about letting go of the past. That really made an impact on me. Yeah, I mean, that's the timekeeper. He is always moving forward. Always. Always moving forward. Time for you and support. Yes, and honestly, thank you, everybody, for the support. Seriously. Like, it poured through. Everybody helped out. It was very nice of all of you to help out. There's something bad is going to the President of the U.S. this year. Something's coming. I don't know. I don't know the pieces. I can only give you the pieces I have. In 2 years, we go to war. And I mean a war. It could look like something out of Pearl Harbor. I didn't see who. I just saw all these troops moving. And I'm like, whoa. So that pops up. And everything tells me it's probably going to be blue. This terrorist tyrant. But I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. But the problem in this timeline is that's supposed to be when the military man's president. What happened? Like, where did the president go? Where's Mr. Trump? I'll be honest with you, I am more concerned about his health. His health has popped up in several predictions, several messages, where there is like, hey, he's not going to have it. He's going to have health problems here. That pops up very strongly. And then also is a concern over, again, this act where he is miscalculating. He's going to try and seize more power, but it's a miscalculation on his part because, no, that's not something that will be acceptable. Okay, talked about a leader. Yeah, I did, didn't I? We're having a problem. It's a moral dilemma. This person is asking, I'm sorry, Melissa. Oh, hi, Melissa. At what point you talked about a leader worse than Trump? Is Musk a Chinese operative? Okay. No, I don't think he's a Chinese operative. He's just somebody that's willing to make money from whatever side that's willing to pay. And it doesn't matter. Like, I honestly think he's talking to Putin, too. Okay. We know there is somebody right now that's going to do something quite horrible to the system of our nation because it's going to plummet it into oblivion of some sort. We know this. We can see it on TV. Every time we see him, I'm like, it's him. And that's a new talent given to me by the spiritual realm. I don't know. It would be... We have been debating this. Because if you look at the world predictions, there's a prediction that talks about the liar. The king's a liar. He lied. He did this. His power is next to none now. We knew. We knew that was Boris Johnson. We knew that was Boris. And we said to all of you, we're like, we didn't put the name out. Because that's slander. We can't just give you the name. Because the person hasn't done it yet. So we're kind of at a foothold here. Do we give you the name? Do we slander somebody's name before they've done it yet? Like, it just seems like a little bit off. But yes, there is a figure there. We are very concerned about this person that Trump has hired. It's like, I don't. But we're going to kind of strategize. Give me your opinion. Give me your thoughts. Like, I mean... Do we give you the name? One of the spirits actually recommend giving you the initials of the name. And Diana, who's taking command of the ship now, is like, why? That's the same as a riddle. Like, why is that different? So we haven't figured out what we're going to do with that yet. Okay. That is very possible. Is JD the military one? I'm not discounting that. No, I'm really not. I mean, it makes sense. He's a military figure. He has a military background. He doesn't seem very unifying to me, but I don't know enough about the man to be honest with you. But yes, that is very, very possible. Okay? Just following the plan of the... Okay. And wants to take over the world and place his candidates. I'll be honest with you. I look at Elon Musk and I immediately think the story of Icarus. Like, that's how that plays. That's how Elon Musk is going to play out, everybody. Sorry. And I'll let you look up Icarus. But yeah, that's how it's going to play out for him. Sorry. Thank you for sharing. Hold on one second, guys. I'm reading all these here. Yeah. One of the beauties of this gift is just as I can read your chi, right? Just as I can do read your energy. That's how I do readings. Read your energy. They can do it through a Zoom channel, right? So if the feed is live, I can see what your leaders are doing. The spirits show me. Oh, this one here has a heart problem. Oh, my goodness. Please get your heart checked, sir. Like, Diana goes over there, and she's like, liar, you're lying right now. Shame on you. Netanyahu supposedly gets the questions beforehand. I'm thinking to myself, how shady. Shame on you. But we can't really say that out loud, even though I'm kind of saying it right now. Because that would be, like, that's a slant. You know what I mean? So we just keep that under the radar. We refer to him and reference it as a lemonade moment. Sort of, like, this is lemony. Come on. Sour. We just add that to the predictions that we write. But Mr. Vance specifically, I honestly feel like he's just going with the wave. He's just like, he knows that he can lead this at some point. But for in this moment, he's just sort of going with whatever everybody else is saying. What everybody else is going. He's kind of participating. He's a loyalist. That part's clear. That's the way I see it. So I don't know if I would honestly feel like, does he believe some of the things he's saying? Nah. It seems more like he's just kind of going with the flow of what everybody else is saying. Yeah. Icarus. There's a story of Icarus. Icarus lived in this temple made by... He was so good at his work. His father was so good at his work. Right? They made this huge tower, and the king trapped him in the tower and said, you're stuck here. You're just going to work for me forever. You know. And they escaped the tower with feathers made of wax. And his father told Icarus, listen, don't fly too high. Don't shoot too high. Because if you shoot too high, the feathers will melt and you will plummet. That's the story of Icarus. That's fully what I'm expecting Musk is going to... That's how it's going to play out. Sorry. I've already looked. That's how it's going to play out. So that sucks for Musk. But, I mean, the message is obvious. You know, stay in your lane. Right? This is not a lane he should be in, according to the spiritual realm. So, but that's for you guys to decide. You're the one in charge. Icarus, yeah. He flew too close to the suns, and his wings melted. Yes, they were made of wax. And so that's what's going to happen. Is look at it. Like, he goes from space to PayPal. Now he's going to politics. Like that's not your lane, buddy. But that's up to him. Okay, questions here. Okay, let's switch over to the superpower of tomorrow. I can do it in 10 minutes. I had a vision. It was this little old grandma sewing a sweater. It was a pink sweater. She had these goggles, these large goggle-looking glasses, okay? These are glasses in the 23rd century, so a little bit ahead of time here. But they can, it's really cool. They can, like, zoom in on, like, oh, what is that on the wall there? You know, it'll zoom in on it. It's kind of bubblish. It looks a little bit silly, but still, the ability to, like, oh, let me look at this bird, you know, like Superman or something. Anyway, so she, of course, is probably looking at the sweater. And so she's sweating this, and she's talking to the wall, which is the house. And I'm like, what are you doing, lady? She's like, honey, explain to them that we're in charge now. We run the world. And the nations answer to us. Let them know that, okay? And then she's knitting, and then she's asking personal questions. Like, oh, how is Betty and John? You know, oh, okay, you know. And so we're starting to hear this. I'm looking around the gadgets. Like, you know. There's a ring in the future. It's the computer of tomorrow. Like it does everything for us. It's like boop, 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 boop. You know, and based on, as time passes, we start living to be 200, then 300, then 800. It skips to 800. 800 years old. Now, we can tell what time it is based on this understanding that everybody shifts. They don't want to make things that are disposable. They want to build things that will last for a very, very long time. So when that shift happens, we can kind of tell what time it is. And so in this timeline, she is having a ring, but at the same time, the ring looks a little bit like, hey, that's an old ring. That's the beginning of the rings, you know, which is a computer. And so that's the timeline. Okay, getting off track here. Let me explain the structure of this system. It has nothing to do with land. Think about all the governments we have. All of them, land. In one way or another. And the land dictates to a certain degree how powerful the government is. The superpowers were all very large. You know, I mean, that's obvious, right? But this system answers to none of that. And so we're going to use education as an example. The ideal of education. The ideal of educating others. All the teachers, all the principals around the entire world become a group. They all get together and create this group, this bubble. And in this timeline, we have a new ability where we can just step into, which I'm assuming is some, what do they call it? Virtual reality system, right? We're stepping into it. We step into it. It's like a huge audience. And they're all misty-looking figures, but they're all the people that are part of this group. And so imagine the power they now yield. You know what I mean? It's almost like a co-op or a massive... It's not a union because they take all the power. They don't hold it. They don't give it up. And it would be the equivalent of, again, this is nonsensical because there's not going to be pencils in the future. But imagine this same group going into the pencil factory and saying, listen, we're taking over. These are ours. We use these. We'll decide on how to make them moving forward. And that's what they do. They take the power and they say, no, this is ours. It was always ours. Give it to us. And make it theirs. So they become a very powerful system all on its own. And each group for firefighters, another group they're all ideals, right? But they're all seem geared towards a career of some sort. Doctors, all the nurses, all gathering together as a unifying force and saying, listen, we're going to decide things moving forward. Cherish this moment because it changes the paradigm. It alters all direction. Right? There's several things that unfold at the same time. Number one is this system where all of these groups are together. All of these bubbles answer to one larger system, one larger bubble. Which is this old lady talking on her sweater. She's in charge of all the bubbles. All of the different systems. That's how the system works. They all unified under this banner of an ideal. We are in charge of our own ideals now. And we will dictate the terms. They all have their own sort of constitutions, their own little, this is how we will be moving forward. And so when you're in your government, and the government says, listen, you're going to do it this way. You can say, no, sorry, this paper says I can't. You're not part of this group, and what can you do? You know what I mean? And that destroys the capacity and the ability of a tyrant to rise. It really does. Because they're the ones dictating the terms. Look at Putin. He's there saying, media, this is how you'll be. This is what you'll do. In some timeline, somebody actually tries this. Somebody tells when this new system rises, a sort of yin to yang to all governments. When it rises, there's a sense of somebody tests it. So there's a government in South America that's just a tyrant of a figure. And he's like, no, you're going to answer to me. You're going to do what I say. And he tells the media, says, you specifically are going to answer to me. And that little old lady in the background, she's like, oh, you poor little sap. We're just going to pull everybody. And she pulls everybody. She just takes all the media out. Just everybody. She's like, we're just going to take everybody out and leave. Bye-bye. He can't even get a weather report. Like, it's just like, they won. And they always win. They always win because all of it, all that they are and all that they yield, is soft power. They have no hard power. They get it later. But there's a sense of this system is just an invite. It's just this sort of like, oh, join us. Be a part of our little group. Woohoo. Because, wow, do you get the bennies. You have to serve them, but you get the bennies that go with it. Like they take care of you if you're in a doctor's problems. They take care of you if there's an emergency. They're like, oh, just call us if you need anything. Can you imagine a government doing that? A system just saying, oh, okay, what do you need? Just tell me. Like, can you imagine that? Like, it's just like, and yet you do have to return it. It's a yin and yang relationship. And so this government rises. This system, I don't know what to call it. An anti-government? I don't know. I don't know what it's called. But there's a system that rises. And from what I can tell, somebody writes something or somebody creates something in the year 2028, and that's when it starts. But I think that start is more like, Karl Marx writing communism, right? It's just like, that's just the beginning. We got a lot of steps before we get to them actually building something. Okay. Questions on this or any other questions for me? Okay. No way it can't be him. Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of scenarios. Let me give you what's in my head. Is J.D. Vance going to be VP? There's something coming where there's a possibility. I'm just thinking in my head. We're not South Korea. We're nothing like South Korea. The United States structure is very different. But that red, the way they explained it, like, oh, this all turns red, and then the United States turns red, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? And I'm looking at it, and they fired their president, and then they fired their vice president, and then they fired, they just keep going down the line. And I think to myself, I don't think it gets that bad. But something is coming to where it's just upheaval on a huge scale. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know. It's in the visions. The military man is a unifier. He's always a unifier. He's always somebody trying to unify the nation. He comes off as somebody that answers to no one. I'm going to do it my way. And, sorry if you don't like it. So that attitude, that very Republican, sorry, that Republican, Texas, hey, we're going to do it our way. Sorry, deal with it. Oh, you don't like it? Okay, sorry. That attitude sort of kind of emanates from this military figure. He is not a military figure. They're only referring to, hey, that guy that's in the military. That's all they're saying. They're not. There's nothing outside of that other than the fact that there's a war and he's good at war. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of he's there at the right kind of moment, individual. So. Is the military man someone with integrity, honor, and respect? Whew. I don't know if that's a list of things I would say about the military one. He seems to have a short fuse. He seems to there's flaws to this figure. He seems to have a short fuse where he's just going to kind of shoot for the hip, like that kind of individual. So is that one of integrity? Meh. I don't know if that would be truthful. However, like I said, he's very good at what he does. So when it comes to taking care of the safety and security of the United States of America, he seems to be very good at it. He's seen as a titan leader. He really is. That's what I would say. Let's see here. Oh, we also do have that Derek. North Korea, Venezuela, USA could be a crazy year, unfortunately. We do have that prediction where they get rid of Maduro. Ooh, they get rid of him. And I think it's kind of violent from what I recall. It's not a happy moment. It's very hostile. It's like, enough. We've had enough of you. Some sort of like, and they describe it as when the groceries turn black, when the shelves are empty. And I think they're kind of moving in that direction. So yeah. And it's a really sad, unfortunate reality. I will say one other thing. The world, if you were to ask the spirits about the immigration issues and concerns of this direction, we need a unifying force. Like, again, with this future government, right? Understand that umbrella, all those bubbles, all those circumstances that they built sort of now dictates the terms to the world. We will tell you how to do things, world. That's missing. Like, who's in charge of the place? Everybody's fighting for their own things. Right? And so once we have a unifying force saying, put your hand down. Sorry, Maduro, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. We told you that. There's a sense of that's what they do. They actually insist on having a more set system. Okay. Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, it was utterly unique. Who built this system? Like, it's a very unique system. This person says, that sounds incredible. It does. That's a new type of... It's unheard of. Like, a government based solely on ideals. A system based solely on making what we create better. Like, if the teachers and principals were solely in charge of all things, they would build something different. They just would. They would build it in their image. They would create it in their way. And they do. What is built in the future looks nothing. Education system looks nothing like it currently does. Its motto in the future is different. It has no interest in just showing you 1 + 1 = 2. It says very loudly to the world, these are our children. And we will introduce our children to the world they will inherit. That's the motto they have. So it's not just about 1 + 1 = 2. You have to actually, education in the future, you have to go to these nations. You have to see it. Where was Mandela imprisoned? It's not enough to read it in their timeline. You have to go see it. You have to go explore it. You have to go think for yourself. This is what it was like. And that's the education of tomorrow. It's very different. It's nothing like it is right now. And yet all of it unified under one banner saying, everyone around the world, this is the way we're doing it now. Yeah, okay. And everybody for the most part, it spreads slowly, but they have the prevailing factor, basically because they're in charge. So. I don't know about the drones. I have no idea. Sorry, Cindy. I honestly, I, I want to say they might be aliens, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it. So, we're more concerned. We have this prediction unfolding right now where it's like a cascade of water. We're just like, what is this? Like, it's a huge wave all at once. And we're like, what just happened? Did a volcano? We think it's a volcano, and the volcano, something fell into the volcano. It's created this tsunami-ish kind of moment. So, we're trying to figure out where all of this is unfolding. Okay, guys. Well, I have no idea if this is recorded, but I hope it did. Thank you all so much. Seriously, thank you for all the help you gave me as Bee's passing unfolds. We're going to bury her on the 24th. So, in other words, get out, California. I don't think it's in California, no. Whenever I'm looking at this huge wave of water that kind of pours through, it looks Asian to me, from what I can tell. It may be Indonesia, I don't know. But then there's another part of me that thinks, I'm looking at a dam. Like the dam burst and maybe we're in Europe and this huge, just endless water is coming out. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'll try to make it shorter next time.